Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero Roadblock for this classic review. And we're going to be taking a look at this guy, and he was that second of the big hulking figures that we always saw, Gung Ho being the first. Now, this is not my original. I can tell you my original had seen much better days than what this guy, who is actually in really good condition. So anyway, we're going to take a look at everything that he comes with, including his big machine gun known as the Ma Deuce, his tripod that sits on his backpack, his ammo backpack, his helmet, and everything else that he does come with. Like I said, this guy and Gung Ho, and I'm glad in Classified, they did the same thing. They built them off the exact same buck. So anyway, let's take a look at this guy. I can't wait. I think we all tried to make sure at points he could use his machine gun with the tripod. It never really worked all that well because nothing ever lined up like we wanted it to. But anyway, let's get into this. But before we do, if you like this type of content, you like when I give you these classic O-ring reviews, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop an O-ring. And I don't know why I did it like that, but I did. Alright, so here we have a Roadblock, and like I said, I always absolutely love this figure. So anyway, we're going to look at his accessories first. This is not my original. So we're going to look at his big machine gun, also known as the Ma Deuce. And looking at this here, you got the handle here, which just like Ripcord, as I kind of had mentioned, I loved it because you kind of reach his hand around it. You didn't have to worry about breaking off his thumb. He's got the long barrel. And I always loved the tip when it looked like this. When you're looking here, you can see the ventilation here. So as this thing is going, in actuality, the grip is upside down, I believe. Now here's where you're actually going to pull it back and load that thing, and then you're going to let it go. Now there are no bullets on it, all right, as well. This is a different time and a different era. But this was an awesome looking weapon. You got your iron sight right there. There's going to be so many things that you can do with this later on. He comes with this helmet, which I believe is just like Duke's. It doesn't have ear holes. It pretty much covers his alien looking head. All right, but you do have the ear guards right here. You got the little piece right around here. So it does look good. I never had him with it, although he always had one of the ugliest shaped heads. As for his backpack and his tripod, so you can see exactly how the tripod sat on it. All right, which I thought was awesome. You can slowly kind of pull that thing off. This tip would break all the time, so just be very careful with it. Here is his tripod, and looking at everything, they put design right here. So it's supposed to be able, so you can make it raise and lower. That's what these pieces are for. Again, these are things that who would have ever thought of this? Why would you design this? You know they can't do it, but we've all seen how tripods actually work. And I think that is an awesome idea there. As for the gun, it could peg in just like that. And then it was always hard to find anything that this thing could sit on, at least for me, that I could sit on where he could sit behind it or stand behind it. We're going to try, like we got some things right around here that we might be able to make it work. As for the backpack, we got the handle here so he could carry it, what I believe is the bedroll. And this was the ammunition. All right, now you can see they have a little notch there. So when you plug that in there, but this piece also came off, which I never understood. I'm assuming this was supposed to be ammo. If I'm wrong, let me know. Now, I don't know where you would put this, if you were supposed to put it just next to it to make it simulate that you had bullets coming through there, but... And this is one of the pieces you definitely could lose, but I don't think many people took that off, unlike Firefly's backpack piece. As for the figure, he has one of the weirdest shaped heads. I don't understand that. He has ears, but he basically doesn't have ears. Not something that I like. I never liked the back of the head sculpt. The face was perfectly fine. Now they gave him a lot here. So you look at this guy here. He has much bigger, thicker eyebrows. It looks like maybe he has thicker pupils, but he still has the paint above it. the big mustache here, and then you have that goatee sitting there. What looks like a bigger nose. And then he has a wife beater, a tank top that is camouflaged. All right. And looking at everything that he has on him, all right, he has a couple grenades right there. I'm sorry, a grenade, a pouch over here. And then you go down here, you get the belt buckle that looks good, and a few little pouches that go right there. He's got the Y strap. So they always made sure that you connected all the way across. It wasn't just going to go to nowhere. Now, I'm not going to say they never did that, because remember Bazooka, he never had a strap. All right. He has his bare arms. Now, this is where they started making a little bit of biceps. Tried to give them muscles. Again, I always wanted him to have bigger muscles along with Gung Ho. Kind of like what Sergeant Slaughter came with after. He's got the watch, and then he is wearing gloves. When we get down to his waist here, we got the crotch. We got the knife that's just kind of sat right in there. And you can see that nice little design. It wraps around. The handle even has a little bit of grip right there. He has a pistol over on this, which is indicating that he's probably a lefty. All right, and you can see the grip on it. Get down to the boots. A couple little rings that kind of just run right across it. And again, this figure looks good, along with the pegs on the bottom, like all the figures other than Scarlet. As for his articulation, as we all know, it's all the exact same. His head can only turn side to side. T-pose, you're never going to have a problem. They do twist right at the shoulder right there, just beyond 90 degrees with his elbows, along with the swivel arm battle grip. You could twist at the waist. Matter of fact, you know you could always make these things go like this and then spin it around. That's the first one that I've done in all these reviews. Is Jean-Claude Van Damme, goes right there, and it's actually a pretty good one. But these ones are meant to be in an L so they could sit in whatever vehicle. 90-degree knee turn, knee bend. This one is tight. So the fact that this figure has stayed in as great a condition as it is tells me whoever had it did not play with these figures very often. All right, as we arm him up, we can throw his helmet on here. Again, I think he looks weird with or without it, but he looks weirder with it on. And then we can throw this right there. Now, the biggest problem came, let's say we have this here. This actually would work perfect for trying to fire. Now, my biggest problem, especially with the newer figures, is every figure should have that wrist swivel. If he had the wrist swivel, I could actually get him behind it rather than to the side of it. This thing actually fits perfect, but no one's gonna fire the gun off the tripod like that. And I'm definitely not gonna bend. I'm definitely not going to bend his thumbs right here, because you'll probably hear it snap, and then you'll hear me cry. And then as for everything else, we can pop this off. Again, a notch right there, so this is kind of gonna just roll, plug right in there. And it's perfectly made, so it's not going to impede anything. And then he was able just to hold the gun like so. And I believe this is how I normally had him standing, firing, and doing his G.I. Joe stuff. So there you go. That is Roadblock. I have my glasses up, which makes it hard for me to see how well I have him have stuff in his hands. If his thumb broke right now, I wouldn't fully know. There you go. That is Roadblock, your classic review of Roadblock. All right, so there you go. That is Roadblock right there. Tell me a story about him. I know a lot of people have this figure. People love this figure. Even to this day, he's considered one of the most iconic G.I. Joes. We've seen him with the Classified. They did so many versions. Even Mezco did it. So tell me a story. Did you have this one? Hey, maybe you liked version 2 better, which we will eventually get to. A matter of fact, if you look close, you might even be able to spot version 2 right back there on the on the aircraft carrier. But anyway, there you go. Classic review. I love hearing your stories. I read every single comment, even if I don't always reply to all of them. I do read it, and I love hearing the stories because it's amazing how something like this can just take us back to a different time. Little memories that we fully just, they resonate and they just sit there. So anyway, let me know if you have a story. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. But please, before we do, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop one of these. And like I said, I'm going well into 2026, and that's just to get through Series 4, I think, before I even get to Series 5. That was a mouthful. Anyway, I know what you're thinking. I need more of this. I need more guys in camouflage. Well, right up here is going to be Ripcord, and down here will be the playlist of all the O-ring figures that I've done. Take care.